Hello everyone, I am live. It is Friday, 12:30 Eastern Standard Time. This is Talk with Tanya every Friday at 12:30 where I go live and talk about a topic pertaining to health, wellness, and fitness, helping busy premenopausal moms make important life-dependent time for your health, wellness, and your fitness. I'm going to talk about sodium levels this afternoon. And I felt it really tied in really well with my live chat last week in regards to eating out. So it's kind of like, let's continue on that. And I hit a lot of points about that last week. If you missed it, you can go onto my Facebook page and catch it, of course, strolling down in Body Business KW, or you can also find it on my YouTube channel. So as far as how much sodium, salt you need, and of course we know there's a whole bunch of different types of salt. So the average healthy Canadian, milligrams, and I have my little notes here, make sure I don't forget anything. So your average amount of salt that you need every day is 1,500 milligrams. So what exactly is that? It's about 1 teaspoon. All right, it's not much, but you know what? The average Canadian is eating 3,400 milligrams of salt a day. So do you know if you've ever gone out to eat something or purchased something prepackaged and you ate it and you're just all of a sudden within, I'll say half an hour, you're just so thirsty all of a sudden, or you're feeling possibly, that on top of feeling bloated and you're like, your mouth feels like you're in a desert. That is because key signs and symptoms that you are eating something that had way too much sodium level, and your body is becoming dehydrated. So that is always a key sign of it. And the reason why it's so important to pay attention to those sodium salt levels is because they already know that when you have too much, again, your minimum you should have on average is 1,500 milligrams a day. Your average person, and this is quite possibly yourself, is having 3,400 milligrams. So more than double a day. And we already know things that when we have too much sodium, consume too much sodium, when you consume too much salt every day in your diet, what happens is increases the risk of heart and stroke. It also raises your blood pressure. It's also known to cause kidney disease because it's very hard for your kidney to break down the sodium, the salt. And it's also known to cause and increase the swelling and the pain of osteoporosis. It's also known to cause stomach ulcers. And not to mention, you probably heard about hypertension going way up there. Of course, not only of stressful society, but if you're eating out a lot, then of course your sodium levels gone up. That hypertension now is increased as well because of the increase in salt in your body. And of course, what are you going to do? What can you do to help bring down those sodium levels? Starts with what you eat, right? Homemade is the key to go, and I'll touch on that, what to add to homemade food, because a lot of people say, but it tastes like nothing, right? I need to add salt. Not true. I'll touch on that just a sec. I want to make one important message here, is the more processed food you purchase and eat, the more prepackaged processed foods you eat and consume and purchase, anything from frozen meals to dry goods, check the sodium levels out, the salt level out on that packaged food. Because what they're doing is they're adding salt to add flavor instead of other spices. And then what happens is your body starts to crave that sodium. So it's a never-ending snowball circle. Your body starts to crave that sodium even more. So going back into what I talked about last week, stay away from fast food. And I went into detail about that. But again, the sodium level, when I talked about you crave it again, that sodium salt level and other additives, it is in there and not good, okay? So when you're looking at your purchased item, before you purchase it, as you're in your grocery store or wherever you purchase your food, stick to food that you can make meals out of. But if you need to purchase, I'm going all tongue-tied here. If you need to purchase, oh, someone just came live, thumbs up, hearts up, say hi, so I can say hi to you. Thumbs up, and I'll know your name will pop up too. If you need to purchase packaged food, I need you to look at that label, okay? And you know how in Canada we have to have, each packaged foods needs to be labeled. Look at the sodium level, okay? That's one of the things on there. And make sure your sodium level per serving. Oh, I have 2 viewers. Hi, Jada. 1 viewer. Thumbs up. Give a heart. And then I know who else is here. So the amount of sodium in that prepackaged food, if you're going to purchase it, so it should be no more than 360 milligrams of sodium per serving. Guaranteed, a lot of that prepackaged food, that frozen food, whatnot, it's going to have 600, 620, 707. Thanks for the thumbs up. 720 milligrams. Like I've even seen, you know, I'll just pick up things just out of curiosity. I've seen a serving like 1,090 grams. Like, can you imagine when your minimum milligrams of sodium salt you should be having per day is 1,500, and here you're picking up something. It's probably that amount that you're going to eat is probably more than 1 serving, and 1 serving is 1,090 milligrams. Do you get the picture? It's really, really, really scary. Other things to avoid or really, really minimize, and I'm going to read off to make sure I don't miss anything, is processed and cured meat. So you're wondering, what is that? So deli meats like corned beef, pancetta, prosciutto, pepperoni, things like that. And yes, you quite possibly have pizza with pepperoni on it, but it's not like you do it every day. So I'm not saying don't have that pizza you love, and I have to let my doggy out here. Do not enjoy that pizza that you have, but it's not like you're going to do it every day, right? That's the important thing to remember. So going on and moving forward from that, let me pick up my notes again. 1 second. The fun things of going live, right? When you go to a restaurant and you order a salad or your meal and there's sauce on it, ask for your salad dressing. And I talked about this last week again in my live when I talked about eating out. Ask for the salad dressing. Ask for those sauces on the side. Because you don't need it dripping with the salad dressing. You don't need it dripping with the gravies and the sauces, right? And especially those store-bought brown gravies that you see in restaurants and in stores, like the canned stuff specifically. Check out the sodium levels in there. It's really, really, really scary. Other things that you possibly purchase at home or maybe even have at your home, check out the sodium levels on there per serving. Things are like bacon, pickles, canned vegetables. There's no reason you need canned vegetables. Get fresh, get frozen, okay? Teriyaki sauce, soya sauce, tamari. If you buy nuts, and I do, I love almonds, peanuts, cashews, things like that, but buy them raw. And I say raw because even the roasted ones are roasted with salt, all right? So when you buy, I buy mine in bulk, or sometimes I'll buy like a small bag of almonds, but again, they're raw, not roasted. If you do purchase roasted, again, check the amount of sodium in there. Unsalted is best, okay? Cheese, really watch the sodium levels, but again, it's okay if you're going to have a little bit, but when you're going to go and eat like, a whole block or something, then careful, all right? And hitting on cheese, buy full fat cheese, okay? The reason being is the fat reduced cheeses, they've upped the sodium, the salt, because they need to give it flavor somehow, because they've taken out the beneficial fat from dairy, because there's nothing wrong with dairy fat. But when you buy cheese with zero fat from the milk, you're now adding tons of salt. Pick it up, go to the grocery store this weekend if you're there, pick up a bar and look at it, okay? And you're gonna be shocked, okay? Your normal cheese compared to your low-fat cheese, look at the sodium level. Again, that modified fat or that modium fat in dairy is fine for you to have, as long as you're not going overboard again, eating that whole brick of cheese. Okay. Other things to watch are for olives. I'm not a fan of olives, but again, they're preserved. They're put in lots of salt to preserve them because they're being shipped, especially if they're coming from Italy, they're being shipped, right? And they're put on the shelf. Sun-dried tomatoes, and buy fresh seafood and cook it up yourself, because the canned stuff, I have to let my dog in again. The canned seafood is, whoops, really, really high in sodium. Notes here, and you'll notice there's pink, some of the labels on canned salmon says pink, and some is just plain. Get the plain one. The reason why it's pink salmon is because they put food coloring in, believe it or not. All right. So if you're getting store-bought stuff, please try and stay away from it. You know, store baked goods, you can make it homemade. It tastes a lot better. You can control what is in there. Banana muffins, for example, homemade ones. What do you have in there? Flour, eggs. You know, maybe you put in sugar. I like to use stevia or agave syrup. You do not need much of that, and it makes it very sweet. Of course, the bananas, I add natural vanilla in there. So what do we have? The flour, the bananas, the eggs, stevia, and baking powder, of course. And there you go, homemade, done. No time flat. I make them in 3 minutes, bake them 20 minutes, and they're done. All right. And when I talked about earlier, I talked about spices for your food. You do not need salt, okay? That's a problem when we go to, you know, go out to eat or have, go to people's places, because we're not used to salt. We can immediately taste it, and then we're like this afterwards. It's really funny. But if you get into the habit, all of a sudden you'll react the same way we are. So use, you know, as far as salt, you can buy spices that are salt substitute. They do not have any salt in there. I use things like garlic powder, not garlic salt. I chop up onions. I use parsley, pepper, paprika. Some things I'll hint of cinnamon, depending what it is. There's turmeric I use. Oregano and rosemary, like you name it. There's all these wonderful spices you can use. Does not involve salt. All right. So when you're making barbecue season is coming up soon. So again, use, you know, your natural stuff, like your garlic powders, like your parsleys, like, you know, brush in oil. Olive oil is good raw virgin olive oil, not heated, because when you heat virgin olive oil, then it changes the kind of positive fats, becomes non-healthy fats. So high heat, then I use coconut oil, avocado oil, grapeseed oil, and you know, flavor again with your stuff that you put on your barbecue without that stuff. Chicken, for example, I will wrap in tinfoil with lots of lemon on there. The garlic powder, we love garlic. I'll slice in raw onions often in there and cook it that way. Making sure I don't forget anything. As far as potatoes, again, use your natural herbs and natural spices. Bake them in the oven, okay? That's how I make homemade French fries. Leave the skins on. I scrub them really, really hard. Again, with natural soap. I scrub it really hard. I slice it. I toss it in the grapeseed oil or like a coconut oil that I've melted and then tossed in there. And I add parsley, pepper, garlic powder, a little bit of turmeric, and some paprika. And I bake that in the oven 45 minutes at 425, and it is so good. And as far as when you make chili, chili is very, very good for you, but rinse your canned beans. So your kidney beans, your red kidney beans, the white kidney beans, your chickpeas if you add in, your brown beans if you add them in. Make sure you rinse all those beans. Not only will you get rid of the sodium, but hint, 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 if chili gives you gas. I know a lot of people get very musical after they have chili. If you rinse the beans, here's the other benefit. No more gas, no more music coming out of your, your behind. So there you go, okay? And I think that is what I make sure I didn't, last check here on my notes, make sure I did not miss anything. Instant oatmeal, our family loves oatmeal in the morning. The kids do not buy instant, please. Check the labels and you will see there's sodium in there for some reason. Not to mention the sugar in there as well. But if your kids like apple cinnamon oatmeal, for example, then what you do, I'm going to give you two different things that you can do. Of course, you buy the steel cut oatmeal. You cook it 10 minutes, of course, because it's hard, right? Nothing's been softened. They're not preserved. They're not pre-cooked, anything like that. So all the nutrients and vitamins are in there still. And then you can add applesauce in there, or what we do is, your dried apples, you slice it up, add that in there, add some cinnamon, and just about before you're about to serve it, to give it a little bit more flavoring, you add in the honey when it's already in the bowl. You add in a little bit of like a teaspoon or whatnot of honey. The reason you do not add the honey in while the oatmeal is cooking, it is because the heat of that you'll lose some of your very, very good minerals and vitamins that are in honey. Of course, I get my honey from we're very lucky in Waterloo, Ontario, Canada here to have a farmer's market here in St. Jacobs. So I can get my honey from the Arborary, I think that's called Apiary, the bee farmer. So it's very pure. It's not processed. It's really scary what you get in the grocery stores, especially brand names. If you compare a honey from a honey farm and the honey in the grocery store, which one is thicker? The one from the bee farm. The one in the grocery store, what they kind of do, the big brands, what they do is they water it down, add sugar, and that's why it's so runny, so watery, because then, where the bee farmer, it costs more money, but it's pure, unprocessed honey. Where's the store brand? Maybe for this much, I'm paying, between $8 and $12, depending what type of honey it is, clover or not. But at the grocery store, I think you can get this much, and it's like $3 or $4. It's because they've watered down the honey, they've added water, they've added sugar, trying to keep it, and that's the reason why it's so runny and not thick like the real stuff. If some have natural health foods, they do carry, like Manuka, it's more expensive, but it's has really strong healing powers as well. So that is my talk for you today. Just sticking on the time, of course, I never like to go past half an hour. I've been on here 20 minutes now. So if you have any questions, whatnot, please message me, text me, email me personally. And if you like this video, hit the like button below, right below here. Share it with your friends. And be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel. to get automatically my videos that I do. All right, we'll talk to you soon. Have a wonderful Friday. Have a wonderful weekend. And we'll see you next Friday, 12:30 Eastern Standard Time. Here, Talk with Tanya. Have a great day. Bye, Jada. Have a great day. And someone else just left. Never got to say goodbye to you. But we'll talk soon. Have a great one. Bye. Smile. Sending positive energy your way. Whew. I'm still here live. I'm pushing wrong buttons. And I can't see where my finish button is. There it is. Bye.